Hi YouTube, the topic of today's video, as we announced, is a very interesting question. Is coffee addictive and how it works?
Uh, yes, I've been coming here for about 5 to 6 months, and I have noticed I have been explained a lot more about pain. I've been given more detail than just coming in and being just medicated out and sent out the door. He goes through a lot of stuff about what can cause you pain. He encourages you to watch the videos to learn more. I'm losing weight. I thank God for that because I haven't lost weight in a long time, and I've lost about 22 pounds. And my friends can see a big difference in me, and so can my family, and I really appreciate it.
I really appreciate Dr. Mongolin for all of his help in getting me back in the workforce and allowing me to function back to my baseline of normal.
Dr. Mongolin told me about the medication zinc, vitamin C, D, and zinc. On the floor in the prison, 160 inmates were sick with COVID, and they couldn't recover. And I told them about the vitamin C, D, and zinc, and now all of them are doing better. All of them are up and they're active, and they're all extra grateful about learning about the zinc.
My name's Rick. I've been coming to Mr. Mongolin for the past 3 months now. He has totally turned my life around. His pain management, of course, is excellent. He'll make sure you get up off the couch. You actually have a life now. I've already lost 35 pounds since I've been seeing him, and the man knows his stuff.
First, I would like to mention that coffee, and being exact, caffeine, is the most widely used psychoactive substance in the world, and it's been used for hundreds, if not thousands of years. It originally most probably started to be used by humans in the area of Ethiopia or Eritrea and those areas, and then it traveled to Middle East, most probably to Europe eventually, and all over the world. Interestingly, when the coffee made its way to British Empire in the 17th century, it was actually fascinating. It was a fascinating development, and we have some historical documents about that. I can show you one of them. I put part of it in the title of the video. That's a real document dated 1674, and that's actually women's petition against coffee, I assume, to British court system, claiming, as you can see, that coffee was blamed for making men neglecting their families and personal life and so forth. It was like a ritual. And by the way, in Ethiopia, it's a whole ritual. It's a coffee ritual, and it still exists. Like there is tea ritual in Far East, which is interesting. It's not how we see coffee nowadays. And the quotation of this court case, the coffee was blamed. Coffee leads men to trifle away their time, spend their money, and for the little base, black, thick, nasty, bitter, stinking, nauseated puddle water. That's what coffee was blamed in the 17th century in the British Empire. Nevertheless, most of us drink coffee. So is coffee addictive? Well, if you look at our previous videos about addiction, we noticed some features to addiction: use despite harm, tolerance. Is that applicable to coffee? How coffee works, and what we can practically do about that? And that we'll address in the second part of this video. Let's start with a very simple question. How coffee works? We said it's a mostly active psychoactive substance. How coffee works? It was actually not understood for hundreds, if not thousands of years. And only recently it was discovered that, like many psychoactive substances, it works on an existing receptor in our body. In this case, it's something called adenosine receptor. Okay? This is adenosine receptor. It's most probably responsible for a sleep-wake cycle, as you see in the bottom. The more adenosine and the more adenosine binds to its receptor, the drowsier you feel. It actually builds its level towards the time you need to go to sleep. And coffee is actually a adenosine receptor antagonist, meaning it blocks, basically binds to this site, but it doesn't have the effect of adenosine. In an example that some people like to use, like remember old cars with the ignition key that you stick it in, but you can stick it in, but you can turn the car on. That's antagonist. So because it blocks adenosine, it keeps you awake longer. So that's simple as that. So is it really addictive? Well, can people use it despite harm? To some extent, yes. Well, people can get headaches. Some people in some extreme situation, they just live on coffee. They don't feel normal if they don't drink coffee in the morning, right? And that's also somehow maybe a sign of dependence, or even some would argue addiction. Having said that, this is negative reinforcement. If you know if you remember what we talked about addiction. So in other words, they don't get high, they just don't feel normal. They want to avoid withdrawal and feeling bad by not drinking coffee. And this is less dangerous. Is there tolerance to coffee? Absolutely, yes. Yeah, so some people who are used to coffee, they can drink a lot of coffee and don't feel the effect. Or, there are some people can drink a cup of coffee before going to sleep and actually sleep better. So they're definitely tolerant to coffee. So is coffee addictive? Well, it's an academic discussion. Maybe yes, maybe no. But the main point is that the harm is very, very small if it exists. So actually the bottom line, most studies show that if you drink 1 to 2 cups of coffee, you can actually get a benefit. And if you drink more than 5 to 6 cups of coffee, you can start getting some negative impact of coffee. But nobody loses their job. Nobody, goes on the street because they drink coffee. So if there is a harm, the harm is not very significant. And therefore, this question is more academic. Depends on how much a purist you are in terms of academic definition. Is it addictive or not addictive? It's hard to say. But the bottom line, if you drink a little bit of coffee, it's actually good for you. The only concern is that instant coffee contains possible cancerogenic substances, not because of coffee, because it was how it was fried or prepared or whatever it is. And regular coffee powder through regular machine does not contain it. Nevertheless, I'm not aware of any studies that show that drinking any type of coffee is associated with cancer. Actually, drinking coffee is associated with less risk of cancer. So, drink your coffee, you'll be fine. Just don't overdo it. 1, 2, maybe 3 cups is okay. Once you go wild, beyond 5 to 6 cups, you're in trouble. Thank you for this question.